Oh, look how beautiful that sunset is coming right here. Look at it on my screen.
Hey babes, I'm Miss Mila and welcome back to my channel. Super sorry that it's been a minute since I haven't been on YouTube. I actually had an accident. I injured 3 of my fingers. They don't have full motion yet. I can't do much aside from like that. I can't make a fist or anything like that. I haven't gotten to a doctor's or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it'll heal on its own. I've been wearing a splint most of the time, but not while I'm working or filming videos. So for now, it's just gonna be outside of its splint. So for the last time that I was on YouTube, I did tell you guys that I was going camping, and I did go camping. I had a really great time. It was my first ever experience going camping, and so I was a little amateur going into things, and I learned a lot of things that I would rather do next time around if I ever went again, which has to happen because I didn't really get a true camping experience. I was mainly going from one destination to another and then back, and camping was just a really cheap means of doing that. However, I had such a good time that I would really like to go camping again, like really truly camping and enjoying the outdoors and the whole experience rather than just making it a traveling type camping situation. But before I get into my story time, I wanted to give you guys a big thank you for helping me reach 2,000 subscribers. It means so much to me, and I'm so happy that you guys are actually enjoying my content and that it's been useful and informative for you guys. I really do plan on sticking around YouTube for quite some time to come, making YouTube content just like this. So it really does help me to know that you guys are enjoying and actively supporting me. So thank you so much for that. As a disclaimer, I do want to give the statement that going into my first ever camping travel experience, I did do a lot of things that I know now that I should have done differently, but I didn't know to do then, if that makes sense. So if you are also an amateur and you've never been camping before, this might also help you before you plan your first camping trip. So first of all, going camping was really hard to set up because of the whole pandemic situation. All of the campgrounds were actually shut down. RV camps were open and they were deemed essential. However, they needed you to book in advance, and you couldn't just drive and go to an RV camp and stay the night. You had to plan in advance and book everything in advance. I also make sure to call through each state that I was traveling through to make sure that it was safe for me to travel through and I wouldn't get stopped or turned away or anything like that, because that was a big fear of mine, that I would just be cut off from entering the border of a state into the next state over. So I needed to make sure for myself that I was actually able to make this trip happen. So I did end up booking 2 RV camp locations in Texas, one on the eastern side and one on the western side, to make my way to Florida, which is where I stayed for several days. And so it was really just a relaxing vacation style trip. It wasn't for work or anything like that, but I did make the most of it, trying to explore, get some footage, get some sunsets, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to make this as healthy of a trip as possible. I didn't want to keep getting fast food every single stop that I made for food, and I didn't want to stop often for food. So I did end up making a bit of a plan of what I was going to do for food. And I did bring a hot water kettle because I thought that that's something that's really easy to use to make things on that would be quick and fast, because it was a travel style camping trip. I didn't have too much time to cook things on portable travel sized cookware. I just had my kettle that I would plug into whatever equipment that I had at my campground. And that's another thing too, is not all campgrounds and RV grounds are going to come with electrical outlets. Because I had an air mattress and an electrical kettle, I needed an electrical outlet to be able to utilize and operate those things. Keep in mind, for campgrounds and RV campgrounds as well, those campgrounds that supply electricity usually cost more than the ones that do not. So if you are planning on trying to make it a little cheaper of a trip if you're gonna go, you can look for the RV campgrounds that don't offer electricity as part of your stay, and that should reduce the cost a little bit. One thing that happened that, don't do this, don't pull a me. So initially, I went into this thinking I wasn't gonna have any facilities. I wasn't gonna have a bathroom. I wasn't going to have a shower. I wasn't gonna have electricity. And I didn't really know that because I didn't do my research. Make sure you always do your research. So I actually had a portable shower to be able to set that up, in 5-gallon water bags to be able to shower in do all of that stuff, and I was gonna use the bathroom in the wilderness and all of that fun stuff because I had no idea what to expect and I didn't do my research. So since I knew I was bringing a kettle and I knew I was bringing my air mattress, my plan was to plug them into the vehicle's cigarette outlet thing and fill up the air mattress that way and boil my water this way. Here was the problem. I was able to do the air mattress, I think, but I think that caused it to blow a fuse in my vehicle. Luckily, there was 2 fuses. There's 2 of those. So I actually was using my laptop and I was actively working on it. I was a passenger. Obviously, I wasn't the driver. And it was really scary to know that, oh my God, a fuse blew. How am I going to be doing my work when we're traveling, getting from one destination to the next? Because that's a lot of free time that I could be actively doing work. So luckily, there was a second fuse that I could utilize to plug my laptop in and have it charged and running so I can utilize that and do my work while I was going about the trip. But I did end up realizing that the air mattress and the water, the kettle, I needed to plug that into one of the outlets that was provided at the campgrounds and get them going that way because the fuses were just not supporting the demands of the air mattress and my kettle. So if you are going to be bringing electrical equipment that need powering, don't rely on your vehicle, especially if you do not have extra fuses and know how to change those out. Learn from my mistakes, guys. I definitely got a little sidetracked. So the food that I was going for, because I wanted to make it quick and easy and healthy as I could possibly make it, were oatmeal, mashed potatoes, apples, and peanut butter. And I also did a minute style rice that I could just boil in water and canned vegetables so I can get some nutrients there. I am a pescatarian, so I didn't have any meat style foods. I did make and pack the night before some bagels that literally were just bagels, cream cheese, and avocado, and that is what I had for lunch the following day. But because I didn't have a freezer pack to store things in, I literally just ate that the same day that I took it with me. I didn't have anything else that were getting refrigerated by ice packs or anything like that for the trip. The other 2 items that I ordered for the trip was a tent, which was really, really big. It was supposed to hold, I think, 8 people and 2 queen size mattresses, which I did bring a queen size air mattress that I previously already had, so it wasn't an extra expense for me. And then I also had like a lantern that I could hook up to the top of the tent that just hung in the center, and that was allowing me to provide light. It had 3 settings, so you could turn it off, on, or just dim, so it wasn't too bright, but you get a little bit of light, which is really nice when you're slowly creeping down from bed and ready to pass out. Just turn it off and then you're good. So after my RV camps were set up and my trip was set up, I had my destinations and my stops. It ended up being a 3-day trip over to Florida and a 3-day trip back to my home. So the night before leaving, I had my vehicle completely packed with my tent and all the equipment that I needed, and my suitcase and all that stuff was in my vehicle. And in the morning, I just quickly got ready, showered, all that stuff, and got my 2 dogs in my vehicle because they came with me for the experience. And I headed on my way through Roswell and into Texas to my first RV location, which was Abilene RV Park in Abilene, Texas. I hope I'm saying that right. And it was only $39 per night.
Oh, this is camping in luxury. Yes, babies, do you like it? Oh, I'm officially camping for the first time ever in a tent. This is so dope. Got my queen size air mattress and a huge tent that's supposed to fit 8 people. And I'm standing up right now. This is great. Look how cute this is. This is at my RV park.
It actually had really nice bathrooms. They were very clean. They were very nice looking.
Nice. These are the shower stalls. And these are the toilet areas.
And it had a code outside so that you have to put like a 4-digit code pin in to unlock the door to get in on all hours of the day and night. So when I realized how nice and clean the facilities were, the toilets and the showers, I did end up utilizing these. I didn't use the shower tent that I had packed and brought with me. I actually had that returned completely. However, I did have 2 5-gallon water bags that were solar heated that I did pack and fill and bring with me. And one of them was filled with drinking water so I could refill my canteen. And the other one was filled with just plain old regular water, which I was utilizing to clean my dishes, because when I was making like oatmeal, mashed potatoes, I had a little bit of travel soap, dish soap that I brought with me, and some dishcloths, and I was utilizing the bag and the dish soap to wash my dishes by hand. It worked out really nicely for me, and it allowed me to eat a little healthier on the trip, because I didn't want to be eating veggie burgers and french fries the entire trip. I was really trying to stay as healthy as possible, because being on the road can be very unhealthy if you make the wrong choices. The only problem was, which I realized on day one, is that usually RV camps are located right off the highway as convenience to those who are just passing through. So you can imagine how noisy it was hearing the traffic of the highway all throughout the night. And I really wish I at least had noise canceling earplugs or something like that, because I got the absolute worst sleep ever the first night that I was camping. Also, if you hear any dogs barking in the video clips I am inserting, it's probably my dog Bubbles, the little tan colored looking one. And overnight at the first RV location, she was constantly barking throughout the night. And this is mainly because we had an RV that was parked like right next to our tent, that people, or at least one person, kept going in and out of the RV and his vehicle. So we heard doors slamming and closing and engines running, and it was super loud and super annoying. And literally 3, 4 in the morning, this guy was going and doing this. So it was really hard to sleep, and it was triggering my dog like crazy, making her bark like crazy. So I didn't get a good sleep at all. The highway noise wasn't helping, but it wasn't as bad as the dog barking and everything else. So basically, what I learned from this is, if you're going to go tent camping, make sure you go to a tent camping location, or at least something that is way more secluded and way more nature filled and not like right off the highway, because that's going to make the difference in terms of your comfortability, your sleep, your peace, if you will. Outside of my sleep though, the experience was very refreshing. I really liked living out in nature. And I did like the nature sounds. That actually helped me sleep a little bit better, mixed in with all the traffic noises and all of that in the first location anyway. So the best part of my experience for the first night really was the facilities and my tent, which was really nice. The only problem was it was like, I think down to 56 degrees Fahrenheit that night, and I only had a very thin blanket with me. I was wearing long pajamas and a thick sweater, so that was helping a lot, but I was still really cold that night, and it was really hard to get to sleep. I didn't have like a sleeping bag, it was just an air mattress. Another tip that I got from someone is that if you're doing an air mattress, you have to have a blanket underneath, like right on top of the air mattress, and then your sheets, and then a blanket over top of you, because I guess the air space in between the ground and yourself is allowing cold air to travel up. So you have to put something on top of the air mattress itself to prevent the cold airflow. I don't know if that's accurate, but that is a tip I got from somebody, so perhaps there is some truth to that. So I had an alarm set for the second day because I had to hit the road and make it to my destination essentially. And I was really tired. I was beat. I didn't get the best sleep, and I was cold. And honestly, like even when we arrived at the campground, it was already like really windy and chilly, even when I was actively wearing a sweater in the daytime. So it definitely wasn't the warmest even during the day. Mind you, I did go camping in May, and I actually got back on like the 31st. So that's probably why the weather wasn't the warmest out, but it was bearable.
Good morning. I am currently showered and deflating my air mattress. Dogs are getting some AC in the car, and I'm gonna take this tent down and get to my second RV location. This location was really noisy, so hopefully my next location will be like right off the highway. But if that is the case, I'm probably just gonna get noise canceling earbuds. I My tent is all packed up, my car is all packed up, and I am ready to go on to my next destination, RV camp.
So after leaving this camp location, going to the next camp location, I had it in my head that this was going to be a long trip and that I wasn't going to enjoy the camping because I was just not getting good sleep and I wasn't having a good experience at these RV camps. However, thank God for my second RV camp location because it was so nice. It wasn't right off the highway. It was really peaceful, really calm and secluded, and it was so much nicer than the first location.
I'm currently chilling in my tent at my second RV location. And it is really nice here. My location. But it is so hot right now. Ow! And my dog's stepping on me. Ow!
It was in Marshall, Texas, and it was called Laguna Vista RV Park, and it was for $33 per night. So not only was it cheaper, but it was also a lot nicer, honestly. The only thing that wasn't as nice were the facilities. However, I know they were super clean. I think it was a family-owned RV camp because the guy that was helping us check in and everything, I literally actively saw this guy cleaning the bathrooms like twice a day, literally like in the morning and again in the afternoon. So this guy was doing like all of the work and he was actively cleaning and checking people in literally from morning till late in the afternoon. So this guy was making sure that the bathrooms were super clean. However, the bathrooms were kind of limited. There were 2 women's bathrooms and 2 men's bathrooms, and each of these bathrooms were locked room doors that had a toilet on one part of it, a sink, and the shower stall itself. It looked a little worn, but they were very clean. Needless to say, the showers were fine, the water was warm. The only problem was that this place, I think they had toilet paper that was stocked, but it wasn't like actively being stocked, if that makes sense. And the thing is that when you went to check in the owner's RV, he actually had toilet paper for sale, so probably they were expecting you to kind of compensate your own materials for yourself, so you bring your own toilet paper kind of thing. Luckily, I did pack toilet paper, so I was already prepared for this. Another thing that they had that I didn't see at the other location were laundry machines, and they also had a vending machine for snacks, which is really cool. I didn't need to utilize these, but they were an option for people who stay there long term. They actually had a board outside by the main facilities that stated the prices for month-long stays with electricity or without electricity. Obviously without electricity would have been cheaper, and yeah, you can stay there for long term, which is really cool, and you could do your own laundry, so that's really dope. At this RV location, they had a really cute duck pond and field that you can go and check out, and you can even fish there. The only thing is that the owner made sure that you had signed a waiver because it was private property. So without signing a waiver, you couldn't actually access the property and utilize that space in that area. I did end up getting a waiver just so that I can explore it on the first day, take some photos, some videos, and I just wanted to get the most experience out of my RV locations, so I decided to go ahead with the waiver. It was free to do so. You just had to provide a photo ID and sign a paper. So the sleep at this second location was much better. Not only was the weather nicer, it wasn't windy and chilly like the first night at the other location, but it was just much quieter and I got much better sleep. In the morning, I was super rested. I was super stoked to reach my destination that day. And then I started making my way to Florida, my destination. And I was exploring there, going to the beaches, going swimming. I missed swimming so much. I love swimming. I love the beach. although I hate the salt water, so that was something I had to deal with. And it was very wavy too. The water was very wavy. The beaches were really, really nice. I actually hadn't seen nice beaches like that since Cuba. Usually when I go to a beach, the ground is really rocky and it's just not nice to step in, and then the water is just very seaweedy and all that stuff. But there was like no rocks on the beach shores, and it was super, super nice on the feet and easy to get into the water. And the temperature of the water was pretty chilly, but it was easy to get used to because it was just really, really hot and humid in Florida. While visiting the beaches in Florida, I definitely used that as an opportunity to get some sunsets. And I did want to get a sunrise. I just couldn't for the life of me get myself out of bed early enough to catch one. I'm a little upset that I didn't, but I did get some really cool footage regardless. So I'm really happy with the footage that I did capture. So outside of the beaches, I did do a lot of exploration around Florida. One of the really, really cool places that I visited was Fort Pickens. And this place is loaded with history of Civil War. I can't remember the specifics regarding it, so if you're into history and the wars, you can definitely do your own research of what happened down there. I was mainly taking the opportunity to explore the area, photograph a little bit, and get some footage that was really, really cool. It was really cool to see how people must have lived around that time period. They had like a built-in church, they had a fire pit outside with a bunch of benches around it, they had a whole bunch of cannons situated, there were lots and lots of stairs, but the inside parts were also really, really dark and spooky, and I can imagine just how creepy and uncomfortable that must have felt back in those days, especially when the weather starts getting cold and wet. It was right off the coast though, and it was a really beautiful location that you could get a really great view from when you were up on the top of the stairs, where people probably were overlooking the battlegrounds and what was going on. That day I spent a lot of time walking around and I just was covered in sweat, and right after that we went right to the beach because that is the perfect way to cool down, and I got a really, really nice sunset that day. So my trip to Florida was really great. The beach was totally worth it. All of the exploration, all of the sunsets, the atmosphere was so cool to take in. I got clips of dolphins. Like, what? I actually got to see a dolphin. But at the end of my stay, I was really happy and ready to go home because it was tiring. Traveling and exploring and having fun is very, very tiring. It takes a lot out of you, but I was really, really ready to just go home and relax. So I did end up going back to the Laguna Vista RV park for my first night back, heading home, and I really enjoyed, again, my experience there. I had a great sleep. It was really nice and relaxing. Although I did cave the second day, I did not stay at the original RV camp that I had trouble sleeping at. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I knew I would have awful sleep because the highway's proximity to the location. So I ended up traveling a little bit further and I got a hotel. I did cave, I got a hotel. And it was kind of cool because this hotel actually had a pool that was open, which I was really stoked to swim in. Mind you, the water did not look that clean, as you could probably tell in these clips. Oh my god, that is so cold. I just dipped in. It's freezing. I didn't stay in the water too long. They actually had a rule that you couldn't leave your dogs in a room by themselves. But because my hotel room was so close to the pool itself, I took the risk and I went swimming anyway. But I knew that my dog Bubbles would bark, and she was, so I had to get out of the pool right away and go into my room because I didn't want to get in trouble and get kicked out for that. So I didn't spend too long in the water, but it was really, really nice to cool down in there and go for a little dip and just chill out and relax before going to bed for the night. The next day, I was so over camping and the trip, not because I didn't enjoy it, just because I was really tired, and having fun can be really exhausting. So I headed back home and I took a couple weeks off, honestly, after I finally finished filming all of the custom content that I had and all of that. I really, really needed it because I just really overworked myself the past couple of months previously. And I was so ready to go back to work on YouTube videos and all that stuff right after I got a bit of a break for a week or so. And then that's when I injured my hand, and that's why I've kind of been gone for a bit longer than anticipated. So I'm really sorry about that. Things happen, and you know, what can you do? But it is healing slowly. And I will be making content regularly as I possibly can. And I do have a few videos that are going to be coming out for sure in the next few weeks. So the next video that you can expect to see on my channel is going to be pros and cons of being an adult entertainer. And this one is going to be, I guess, a little eye-opening for anyone who might be interested in the adult entertainment world and what it really means to be one. But also, if you are an adult entertainer, you can relate to the pros and cons. And then if you are not an adult entertainer, but you are possibly looking into becoming one, then it really gives you an idea of what you can expect for the pros and the cons, and you can help weigh them yourself to figure out if it is the right option for you. And then after that, I'm going to be releasing a birthday vlog video, woo, because it is my birthday month. My birthday is July 23rd. I know I've had it set to July 3rd for the longest time. It's not, it's actually July 23rd, and I have been using a fake birthday date, and I'm finally bringing it back to real birthday dates. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I've been lying about certain information because I don't want my identity to be easily recognizable because, well, I mean, there's reasons why I need to protect myself, and people who are adult entertainers get that. That is why we operate with fake names and whatnot, and we usually do use geographical blockings to make sure that people don't know and are aware of our residences. I just figured that my birthday date of July 23rd is not giving enough away that it would be a problem for me, and I do want to make myself as real as possible. I hate lying. I don't even like lying to people in my real life of what I do and who I am, but unfortunately it's just something that comes with the job. But yes, I am going to be documenting my birthday on July 23rd, so the video, you can expect to see it after, once everything's edited and uploaded. I'm hoping to still get it released within the month of July, so that's my goal. That's all I'm going to be saying for now, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you are looking forward to my new content that I'm going to be releasing here on my YouTube platform. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn the notifications on down below, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye for now.